Hello everybody and welcome back to our channel. Today we'll be reviewing a collection of seating elements called Bryanna, which is based on a Scandinavian design and a beautiful craftsmanship. Let's dive in. The Bryanna collection is comprised of 3 elements which can actually be coordinated in a single room if needed. Here we have the armchair, okay? There's not a chair version without armrest. We only have this version with armrest. Then we have the stool, which is based on the same design. You'll be able to see it in the catalog, just without a proper back, and the seat actually curves towards the back to actually keep your bottom onto the seat properly stable. And then we have a lounge chair, which is very similar in design to the armchair version, just it is lower in seat by a few centimeters, lower in the back, and slightly wider and slightly deeper, so bigger overall, and it can be used for a coffee area or can be coordinated matched to a sofa, so not to be used around the table. Here we have the Bryanna chair at the desk in a single bedroom context, but we can actually configure it to be perfect around an important dining table. The Bryanna armchair is indeed quite comfortable. The seat, the cushion on the seat is actually quite thin, so it's not very bouncy in this regard, but I feel that the shape of the back, the shape of the armrest, even though the back is actually low because it's 76 centimeters, so it's pretty much as high as a table, it actually supports my back pretty well, and I don't feel that it cuts my back. So I back like this and feel comfortable, and it's the proper height to support my my arms. I can feel it's not neither a positive neither a negative. I can feel it's quite compact. The fact that it's quite compact makes it maybe I'm rather slim, so for some people it could be perceived as too tiny, but at the same time I have an armchair with not the same floor space occupied as other models of armchairs, which are actually bulkier. The lounge version, as we said, has the same shape overall, just I would have a more relaxed sitting style because it is lower onto the ground. It's 41 and something instead of 45, which is the standard seat height for chairs, and it's slightly deeper with a slightly lower back, so we don't have it here to show, but as I would probably sit something like this, more relaxed. An interesting aspect about the stool, it's important because you can actually customize the height of the stool by the centimeter, and this is very important because, you know, on most of stools you get 2 heights. The kitchen top height, which brings the seat height to something like 65, and the so-called bar top height, which brings the height of the seat to 75 and something, while with the Bryanna collection you can actually customize it by the centimeters, so if your kitchen or your bar element has a different height than the supposed standard, then you can customize it perfectly. Before describing all materials and finishes with which we can customize this chair, stool and lounge chair, we must describe how it is built. It is built with ash wood, okay, and it has solid wood legs and a solid wood structure underneath. It's a rather clean design. I really like it. Well, then we have these PVC feet underneath the wooden legs, and I must point out how the back and the armrests are actually multi-layer wood. You don't really perceive it from the start because it is still ash wood, and so it is tinged like the solid wood part, but if you look from above you will perceive the different layers, and you see this is necessarily made because if you want to curve a wood piece like with this sort of shape, you need to build it like this with a multi-layer panel. And well, this element could have been built as a solid wood element, but then there would be an issue as to the reliability of the connection between the back and the armrest. And so the artisan, the engineer, I would say, that designed and built the prototype of this collection actually thought it was a good idea to create the armrest with the same multi-layer approach of the back, so that you don't have a joint here, and so this makes it perfectly reliable. And so we have then a joint, a connection between this multi-layer element and the supporting legs. A detail about the connection here, you know, in terms of craftsmanship, on this very partner factory we have beautiful chairs where this connection, this line, you don't perceive it because it is so perfect, and then it is lacquered above it, that you don't perceive the line. Here the designer actually chose to leave it visible, and well, you might like it or not, but this is a design choice, and I think on this model I do like it. We said it is ashwood, and it can be finished in so many finishes. So we have natural colors, we have 4 of them, and there are transparent finishes which range from very light to very dark, and those are the standard colors that you see on many furniture collections. Then we have tinged ashwood, it's this one, and colors, you do perceive, the wood is colored, you do perceive the veneer here, okay, but we must understand that colors with this approach are not intense, are kind of subdued. So you take this color, it's called yellow curry, and it is not as intense as you see it, for example, on a RAL scale or an NCS scale, on a on a solid color sample. So subdued and less intense colors. We have 20 colors available with this finish. Then we have open-pore lacquer. It is still ashwood. The color is definitely more intense. You still have the 20 standard colors that we offer, but then you can also choose from the RAL or NCS color scale. Bear in mind that with open-pore, colors is more intense. You still perceive the veneer, the shapes of the wood, which is what makes wood beautiful, but you perceive less the shapes of the veneer because color is more intense, and so you kind of perceive it when you move around the object, and you perceive it when you have the proper lighting conditions based on the color. As to the upholstered part, we start off by saying that the upholstery is not removable, so it's important to choose a practical material based on the room, on the kind of use you plan for the item, furniture item you are configuring and customizing. It's available in most of our fabrics, faux leathers and natural leathers. Okay, this fabric is called pixel diagonal. I don't know if it's the proper translation in English, but in Italian it's called false united. It is a fantasy fabric, but the decor of the fantasy is so tiny that you perceive the decor when you are very near to the surface, and when you move back a bit, you do perceive a single surface, a kind of single color, or the two colors mixed, and you perceive less the actual design. This false united approach, I like it because it gives a personality to the item, but it's not as strong or subjective, I could say, as a proper fantasy decor. And you have, of course, different colors. And here we chose it because we could actually match the color of the yellow curry lines of the fabric to the yellow curry or curry yellow of the structure. And you know, it's not a perfect match because this is something that sometimes it's tricky. When you match colors, you must know that it is sometimes impossible to perfectly match them, but our objective as interior designers is actually create something that looks good and looks good in the long term. And this is an example of what you can do in choosing from, we said, hundreds of available colors from the structures and thousands of available materials for the upholstered part. So we've come to the end of today's product review about the Bryanna seating collection with chairs, stools and lounge chairs. I hope that you liked it. They are beautiful Scandinavian design, and see you next time I go back to school. Bye bye.